and is believed to have appeared in the 14th century literary work, The Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer. So this is from BBC Culture, and I've given a link. The whole article is worth reading. Now, one of the problems that people face, they say, I am not creative. But nobody is not creative. We have to unblock our creativity. So this writer whom I'm quoting says, many blocked people are very powerful and creative personalities who have been made to feel guilty about their own strengths and gifts. Julia Cameron says, her bedrock of creative recovery prescription is to write morning pages, 3 pages of stream of consciousness longhand, writing accomplished on rising when a rational self-editing mind gets out of the way of intuitive inclination. The pages develop our creativity and encourage belief in our potential, she says. They are non-negotiable. The artist's date is her second tool, a weekly experience to thrill that woos your inner artist, such as a visit to the zoo or buying crayons. So now we come to creative writing in today's world. In today's world, creative writing has gone online. It's very big as a business and as enjoyment and pleasure. It both delights and instructs. Earlier, it was in real time, often in classrooms, etc., or blended learning modules. But because of COVID-19, now it is almost entirely through the digital medium. This has advantages and disadvantages. So I want to talk here about some of the expert courses that are being run now. The first, I will deal with financial courses, in the sense you have to spend money on them. So there is something called Masterclass. Masterclass is very useful because you have great writers like Margaret Atwood, Salman Rushdie, Neil Gaiman, and others. They are teaching the courses. There is Udemy, again a fine set of courses. There's Coursera, there's HarvardX. I can talk authoritatively about HarvardX because I have taken 2 Harvard courses through the online digital medium. These are paid courses. They have the plus point of being branded. So the good thing is, if you do a HarvardX course, then people consider you as a person who is very knowledgeable because you have done a course from Harvard, although you didn't go to Harvard. So they are branded. But the minus point is the lack of attention from those teaching it, as in the 2 HarvardX courses I did. For example, one course I did was by Stephen Greenblatt, who is one of the founder critics of New Historicism. But I did the entire course. It was on Shakespeare. It was a wonderful course, definitely. But there's no direct touch with the teacher. There are only assignments and they're corrected, and we really don't get to know the teacher. We get to hear his videos, etc. So this is a minus point. Unlike, you don't get the chance to interact with such great teachers, although you're paying. Now I will go to my area of expertise, which is poetry. And, here is a list. Now I want to tell you that, as Indians and everyone all over the world, financially we are going through a crunch. We have problems paying people like Margaret Atwood to teach us because we don't have the money, not because we don't want to learn from them. But there are also, wonderfully powerful courses that are run by, big universities that are offered free. So here I have a wonderful friend called Trish Hopkinson, who has made this list for me of poetry courses, that are free. And if you look carefully at this list, you can see that you have courses offered by Yale University. You have courses offered by MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. You have courses offered by Coursera, MOOC courses, by University of Albany. So there are many free courses, if you are able to find them, which will tap the inner writer in you, and you don't need to pay fees. You only need internet and time and energy, and a good connection and a mobile and a laptop or a tablet, and you can really learn. There are also, the NaPoWriMo and NaNoWriMo, both of which I do every year. And I have got courses. I have got 2 certificates from National Novel Writing Month in USA. So this is a very good way. They tell you how to write, what to write, when to write, where to write, why to write, etc. But the main thing is that first of all, you have to unblock your creativity. So now, because we only have 25 minutes, let me tell you what I have learned. For example, in poetry, because of poetry, because of new courses, I have learned many new forms, which our students in literature haven't learned. They may learn about Shakespearean sonnet, Petrarchan sonnet, elegy, ode, and that's all. They are stuck lyric. They are stuck with these 5 forms and free verse. But now there are so many exciting new forms. And as I told you, creativity is expanding your intelligence through fun. So now you have Minisun. Minisun is a mini sonnet. That is, it will have 14 letters or 14 words or 14 lines, each line having only 14 letters. You have the anti-sonnet. You have the rosette sonnet, which is a form created by me. You have the chordate sonnet, which was created by another Indian, Sonnet Mondal. You have pantoum. You have the blackout or erasure poem. You have, haiku without rules. No 757 without rules. Free haiku, just 3 lines. You have the haiga, haibun, showing the influence of Japanese creative forms. You have the reverse poem. That is, you read a poem forward. You can also read it backward, and it still makes sense. You have concrete poetry. You have found poetry, where you take lines from other people and you put it together to make your own poem. You have the menu poem. That is, you take the cooking menu and you write a poem as if it is a cooking menu. So, I have an FP group called PSL, the Significant League. Every year we conduct a National Poetry Writing Month in April. And through that, we teach many people these forms if they are ready to come along and write for 1 month with us. And that's free. And we give a certificate at the end of it. So what are the gains? What are the gains of creativity, of creative writing, of unleashing the creator who is a writer within you? One is, it improves our state of mental health, because, writing is, first of all, expression. And when we express ourselves, it's therapeutic. We feel happy when we tell others everything we can, and we can't. So we write it down. So the journal, the diary, the form of non-fiction, blogging, all this increases our mental health. It gives us happiness. It increases the skill of creativity, which is connected to problem solving. It gives us a flow in life. It unblocks, mental and neural pathways. It gives us wellness. Sometimes it leads to publication, as in my case. It gives us self-satisfaction. Sometimes it leads to awards, as in the case of, Rajendra Padi sir, me, Mahua, etc. And so many in the audience also probably. And finally, last but not least, sometimes it gives us money, because people offer us money for publishing, getting published. We get royalty, we get money for talks sometimes, etc. So because of all these gains, creativity, it pays off in the short and long run. And that's why it's good to unlock the creative writer in you. Now to go to the second part of my talk, friends in publishing for books. So first, the traditional one is you send to a company like Penguin, and maybe you have a literary agent, and if you are lucky, they will take it. They take a long time, but they'll pay you. They'll put it in all bookstores, and that's very good, because money is involved in that. And on the other hand, there is vanity publishing. Vanity publishing is where no one is ready to take your book, or you don't have the confidence to send it to traditional publishers and wait for 3-4 years for the book to come out, because it's a very long, tedious process. So you pay and you get it published. That's vanity publishing. And that is also now accepted. People don't mind whether you paid or not, if you are ready to pay. But often it's a loss in financial terms for the writer, because whether such books sell, or it may be read, but whether it sells or not is a question mark. Ebook formats are there. For example, if you publish on a site like Smashwords, they offer your book as PDF, as so many different formats. So those are ebook formats. There are chapbooks. A friend of mine, Ritamira Bhattacharya and Ravishankaran, they just brought out a chapbook. Chapbook publication is very, very popular in USA, where poets find it very difficult to publish. So what they do is they bring out chapbooks, which are brought out by small printing presses. One chapbook will only have 10 or 20 poems. So slowly the idea is coming to India also. There is Kindle publishing. I have 2 books on Kindle, and they have done very well. So Kindle is an option that Amazon offers. They have a Kindle reader, but they also have Kindle publishing. It's a very good medium. And these are all legitimate. It's not like paid publishing, which may be risky, because if you don't know the publisher, he can take the money and he can vanish. Or she, or they, whoever they are. Then there are dual media publications. For example, a book that appears as in print and on Kindle or as ebook format, or that appears in pictures and in words, or having pictures and words. Or dual media is about how a book can now, you can even have triple media. You can have it as a digital media, you can have it in print, you can have it as an audible. What that means is as a sound, as a book that you can listen to. So dual media, triple media, using illustrations. These are all new trends that are coming up. So some people now, they just write a book, children's books especially. They don't bring it out as print. They don't bring it out as ebook. They only bring it out as a book you can listen to. And they're finding that many people don't have time. They're busy. And they're happy to only listen to a book, especially children's books. There are pop-up books. That's for designers and all, for children again, but even for grown-ups. And there are coffee table books. There are many kinds of books in publishing. And, so that's all what I'm dealing with comes under multimedia or mixed media. There are a whole lot of writers who don't deal in books. You don't need to deal in books. About someone, about Sulekna, I think it was being said, I don't know, today, that her Facebook page has more than 50,000 readers. So, we can have now, we have readers. Rupi Kaur is an example. She started writing poetry on Instagram. Now she's a world famous poet, a best-selling poet. And she's called an Instagram poet because she made her name writing on Instagram. So you can write on LinkedIn, you can write on Instagram, you can write on Facebook, you can read on YouTube, you can have your own blog, your own e-magazine. I'm the editor of an international e-magazine. You can have print magazines, you can have your own website. All these are new trends in publishing where no middleman. You write, you make your own readership, you make your own name, you become famous. You just, you also have to push, you should be your own advertiser, your own distributor, etc. So I think I have, I don't know whether I have more time or not, whether I finished my time. But here is a good bibliography of the people, and I need to talk a little bit about this. So Julia Cameron, The Artist's Way, A Spiritual Path to Higher Creativity, is one book I refer to. And the other book, again by her, is The Listening Path, The Creative Art of Attention by Julia Cameron. Elizabeth Gilbert, who wrote Eat, Pray and Love, which is a very famous book, has a book called Big Magic, Creative Living Beyond Fear. There's Sir Ken Robinson's TED Talk, Do Schools Kill Creativity? The answer is yes, because we tell our students what's important is, passing exams, getting high marks, getting high grades, job, we don't allow them to explore their creativity, and telling them that maybe through creativity, even before you finish 10th standard, you can become a world famous writer now. You can earn money. There's nothing saying that you have to wait till you're an old man. And old people can also do it. There's nothing saying you are too old. You can still do your PhD. You can still write your novel, even if you're 70 years old. That's the secret about creativity. Dot Nielsen, the secret of the highly creative thinker, how to make connection with others. Sister Corita Kent, learning by heart, teachings to free the creative spirit. Now why do we stress creativity now? Because, it inculcates higher values and skills like problem solving. And most of all, it tries to restore the flow of life into one where you are so busy being creative that it even helps you to fight against many problems that people who now have a lot of stress and strain face, like, depression. Creativity can help you fight against things like depression. So I hope that you liked my talk. And, if I close now, I have a little problem with technology here, so I don't know exactly how to close this and come back. But let me try.
Okay, sir.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
very
sir.
much. That's my talk.
Yes, sir. Thank you
Yeah.
very much, sir, for your insightful and illuminating talk on creative writing and publishing. In your presentation, you covered many aspects of creative writing and publishing. You emphasized on the value of creativity at the beginning, and then you also talked how to unblock it and the significance of creative writing in today's world. You also shared the online platforms through which a student can master this contemplative art. At the same time, you also shared the different forms of poetry that are prevalent at the current time, like nano sonnet, haiku, and other forms of writing poetry. You also emphasized on the gains of creative writing, that is, it gives happiness and at the same time mental health also, enriches our mental health. And you also shared the different forms of publishing, the new trends in publishing, like ebook publishing, chap chapbooks, Kindle publishing, Audible books. All these, definitely this will encourage our students and the aspiring writers to uh, give time for creative writing and publishing. So thank you very much, sir. And definitely there will be questions from the participants towards the end of the webinar, and I would request you to answer those questions. So with this, I thank you once again. Now may I request the other resource person and distinguished writers who have joined this webinar as a resource person, Dr. Sulagna Mohanty of Jain University, Bangalore, a renowned storyteller and writer, to present her speech in this webinar. Over
Thank
to
you, sir.
Dr. Sulagna
Yes.
Mohanty.
Thank you, sir. Sir, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, madam, you
You're
are.
audible.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So, a very good morning to all of you, respected dignitaries, the Vice Chancellor of Kalahandi University, the Registrar, the Deputy Registrar, esteemed Chief Speaker, the invited resource persons, organizing team, and the wonderful audience. Life comes to a full circle when you are invited as a resource person by the same department that laid the very foundation of your knowledge and creativity. From being a government college to an autonomous college and to a public state university, Bhavani Patna College has come a long way. And leaving this college as an English graduate and coming back here as a resource person is truly a blessing and honor. Hence, I would like to start my session by thanking the PG Department of English, Kalahandi University, for giving me this wonderful opportunity. I still remember back in 2003 when I was a clueless teenager. I had joined this college as a BA honors student. Even after almost 18 years, I still remember my first English honors class, and Professor Ajit Mukherjee was our teacher, and we all were very timid and scared, and we were wondering what Dr. Mukherjee is going to teach today. And most of us were from Odia medium schools, and were not even confident if we can speak in proper English if our teacher asks us some question. And then Dr. Mukherjee comes and throws his first question at us. And he asks, "Have you ever written a love letter?" And we all are stunned. What kind of a question is this? We had this typical mindset where we had never seen any teacher speaking about love and romance. So we looked at each other and we said, "No, sir." And Dr. Mukherjee simply blasted us, saying, "What kind of people you are who have never written a single love letter? And what are you going to read, and how are you going to read the great love stories written by Shakespeare and the love poems by John Donne, novels by Jane Austen and Emily Bront? If you don't know love, if you have never experienced it, how are you going to do it? Because then he said, how are you going to feel love? Because love is something that sets you free and liberated. And how are you going to be creative if you are not free?" So this is how this institution had taught me the meaning of creativity, freedom, and liberation. Interestingly, today I am also invited to speak a few words on a very interesting topic, which I also feel very thought provoking. That is current trends in creative writing and publication. And I just love the subheading of the topic that says, "Discover the writer within you." And whoever has come up with this line, kudos to that person, because this line is actually the crux of this discussion that we are going to have today. It says, "Discover the writer in you." And when do we discover something? We can discover something only when it already exists and it is unknown to others, but it already exists in us. So basically, it says everyone is creative. I remember even Dr. Koshi said the same. Everybody is creative and everyone is a writer. And Elizabeth Gilbert says, "If you are alive, you are a creative person." So if we are alive today, then definitely we all are creative. Hence, whenever I take my creative writing class, I always write it on the blackboard, A, B, C, W. I know everybody knows A, B, C, D. Anybody can dance. And what is A, B, C, W? Because I believe anybody can write. And then let's talk a bit about the current trends in creative writing. Sir has wonderfully mentioned, Dr. Koshi wonderfully mentioned how there are there is new styles of poetry, and now we need not go for the traditional way of writing, and we have many different styles. And he was also talking about the current trends in publishing. So I will be discussing the same, but maybe with some kind of different examples I might come up with. So first of all, let's see what is the basic understanding of creative writing. Because anytime anytime somebody asks you, what is creative writing? Writing a story, writing a poem, writing a novel, writing a play. If yes, only writing a story or poetry or a novel is creative writing, then what about the person who is writing a food blog? What about the person who is writing a music blog? What about the person who is writing a travel blog? Are they not creative? In fact, each and everything that we write is creative. Sometimes even I feel the answers that you write in the examination is more creative than the writer or the poet or the novelist, the playwright has written. Even the departed soul of the esteemed author would wonder, "Oh my God, did I really write the same that the student has written in the exam paper?" Or the teacher would be wondering, "Is it the same poem that I taught to the student?" Because students become great creative writers when it comes to examination. But then, jokes apart, on a very serious note, creativity is something which is an innate part of all human beings, and knowingly or unknowingly, it always shines through. No matter it is fiction or non-fiction, creativity can always found. And that is why today, whenever we say creative writing, it is not only limited to creative fiction, but it also includes creative non-fiction. So we can say poetry, novel, play, and story can come under creative fiction, and biography, memoirs, different types of blogs and essays can come under non-fiction. So everything comes under the umbrella term of creative writing. So please be happy. If you are not able to write a story, if you are not able to write a poetry, still you can become a creative writer. And just you have to do one thing, you have to find your passion. And if food is your passion, you can be a food blogger. If your passion is fashion, if your passion is movies, if your passion is sports or video games, you can always create something new, because creativity is all about imagination. So just let your imagination flow, create something unique, something original, because creativity is all about breaking the barriers, breaking the stereotype. And once you break it, then automatically you become a creator. Like Sir said, Dr. Jadav Sir said, the creators are like Brahmas. So you become.
Madam, unmute please. Dr. Sulagna Mahanti, madam, please unmute.
Okay, sir. Okay. Can you hear me? So can you hear me?
Right.
Yes. So the second thing that I would like to discuss is the contemporary publishing scenario for creative writing, because the publishing industry has greatly impacted, and Sir was also talking about how social media and technology has taken over, and especially there was a lot of eye-opening strategies that came up during the COVID-19 situation, where everybody was locked down, everybody was inside home, and at that time there was this there was a new trend that came into publication, and we will discuss that a bit. And the publication industry has of course greatly impacted by the latest entertainment and information industry development, and it has got a great shift from the printed publication to digital publication. So before few years, if somebody has to print something, then he or she had to go to a publishing company. And today, Sir was also talking about this traditional publication, where we have to go and meet an agent, and if he writes something good, it might get accepted if we are lucky. But then, what has happened in the last few years? Now, because of the smartphones, because of internet, the possibilities they have offered us, now one can self-publish. Basically, everything that you write, it can be published on different mediums, different platforms, which were totally unthinkable before. But before talking about the digital publication, let's talk about traditional publication. And in traditional publication also, Sir was talking about vanity publication. Now, what is that? This is self-publication, which was looked down upon before few years. But when you look at few names, I remember Sir was talking about Rupi Kaur, who was known as an Instagram poet, and now she has become extremely popular. I would like to take few more names who went for self-publication, and today they are known as one of the most successful Indian writers. Amish Tripathi. Everybody knows, most of you must have read Immortals of Meluha. And now I heard that a movie is going to be made on the same trilogy. I'm not very sure. But look at Amish Tripathi, then Ashwin Sangvi, Shavi Sharma. All these are known as the most successful Indian writers. How did they publish their first book? They all went for self-publication. They self-published their first book, and the rest was history. Then only it was taken over by traditional publication. So here the question is, suppose the manuscript is not being accepted by a traditional company, what should you do? you can go for self-publication. Now, there are some pros and cons. For an example, if you go for self-publication, you have to invest money, you have to be in a part of the editing process, you have to be a part of the marketing process and the distribution process, which you don't have to do when you go for a traditional publication. But my point is, the door for publication is not closed if you don't go for a traditional publication. And in 21st century, I always feel, if today the kind of technological advancement we have, the kind of social media opportunities we have, if we cannot use it for our growth, if we cannot use it for our development, then there is no one who is a bigger fool than us. Because earlier all these things were not available. Now you can always go for social marketing, social media marketing. And when we talk about Rupi Kaur, how these writers became popular? They all started with a page. Maybe you can try to start a Facebook page. Maybe you can try to start an Instagram account. And then you can find your readers, you can find your followers, and then you can go for publication, because now you know that I have some loyal followers. And if I publish something, these people are going to buy my books. So here we have to see what is our priority and how can we go for this publication. Now we can look at the scenario of digital publication, because digital publication has seen different trends like going digital and visual content tools, self-publication on social media, importance of mobiles and voice mediums. And interestingly, I got this information that I would like to read out, that right now 44% of the world populations are reading online. So if you want to find your readers, you have to be online. You have to go online. You can go for offline publication, but you have to make your presence available online as well. Because while this printed version of books and magazines will surely continue to exist in years to come, but there is an unquestionable trend towards digital publication. And it has increased immensely during this 2020 coronavirus outbreak, which has turned more people into digital rather than for printed content. There is also another information that I would like to read out. According to the Cisco Annual Internet Report 2018-2023, by the year 2022, 82% of all online content will be video. So suppose you want to be a creative writer, how can you reach this audience? You can always be a storyteller. You can write it, you can publish it offline, you can write it, you can publish it online. But at the same time, you can also try to create short videos and post it online. Because according to the report, if 82% of people are going to watch or going to read this online content through video mode, where will you stand? So we have to be very much prepared. We have to be, because now it is not only about creativity, it is also about a smart creator. Because a great mind had said that a story is not a story until it is heard. Somebody has to hear your story. Somebody has to read your story, read your poem, right? So how can you reach your audience? Only through this kind of different trends that is coming in publication. Now let's talk about self-publishing in digital publication. It is reaching a growing market. You can say it is offering unprecedented possibilities to authors and to digital publishing. And I remember sir was also talking about Kindle. Kindle is a wonderful platform for new writers. But unfortunately, if you want to write in regional languages, it is giving that opportunity only to 6 Indian languages, not to all Indian languages. And unfortunately, Odia is not one of the languages that Kindle accepts, but it's fine. If you want to write something in English, you can always go for Kindle publication. And again, a report says that by 2023, there will be an incredible rise in voice searches and voice assistants. Now, what does it mean? It means people are going to listen to stories. They are going to listen to podcasts, because that is how the world is changing. Look at us. Nobody had ever thought that we all will be obsessed with OTT platforms. Look at all these YouTube channels. Who are these YouTube creators, YouTubers? Those are the people who didn't want to go for the traditional way. They created something own, then they uploaded it online, and then they become popular. So we can always learn from them, and we can always go for new contemporary trends that is changing the whole publication scenario. Lastly, I would like to say that there is one more information, that when you are creating a content, apart from creating a content, apart from using your laptop, you should also try to create content that can be posted from mobile, because these days, as you can see, most of the people are using smartphones and mobile phones. So with that note, I have come to the end of my discussions, as we have less time, and I have to conclude my session. And if you have any question after the session is over, anyway, we have a question answer discussion. You can ask me your question. But before wrapping up my session, I would like to say that I just hope I could give you a little bit of insight into contemporary trends in creative writing and publication. And I wish to see you all spreading your wings and reaching great creative heights. I would like to wind up my session by quoting Edwin Land, who has said, "An essential aspect of creativity is not being afraid to fail." So I would ask each and every student present here not to be afraid to fail. Please be proud when you fail, because you have tried something. And I hope you all never ever be afraid to fail. You fail, you fall, then you get up, then you learn, and ultimately you fly. So that's all. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Sulagna Mohanty, for your stimulating talk on creative writing and publication. Definitely, we also feel happy that this webinar gave you an opportunity to recollect your memory associated with the Department of English, Kalahandi University presently.
Yes.
And you emphasized on the second part, on the subtitle of the webinar, that is Discover the Writer Within You, very nicely. You also encourage the people who are writing to focus on non-fiction as well as fiction, and to develop the passion. And also you shared the new trends in publishing and how the pandemic has opened up new opportunities, the technological revolution, the digital platforms that have been come of. And you also emphasized on self-publication and how many writers, they have been successful writers in the last 10 years. And definitely the students and the aspiring writers will take your help also in the meantime. You are a resource forever for us. And they will personally or through the department, they will connect you to get their writing published and to get thoughts from you, ideas from you. And definitely you emphasize, as you told, somebody has to hear your story. That should be another tagline for a writer who is aspiring to write. Thank you, madam. So with this, now I request the other resource person to give his deliberation in this webinar, Professor Rajendra Kumar Padhi from Bhairavananda Baba Bhairavananda Autonomous Mahavidyalaya, Chandigarh. He is an eminent poet and writer, and he is the head of the department English. So may I request now Professor Padhi to give his deliberation on this virtual platform. So over to Professor Padhi.
Hello. Am I
Sir,
audible?
you're audible, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, you're audible,
So,
sir.
friends, Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, and Reverend Dr. Ampat Kosi ji, Mahua Sen ji, and everyone present there, I express my hearty regards to everyone. And I'm very fortunate that I am a part of this webinar because I am known to Joydev Sahu because my native place is also the native place of Joydev. So he used to call me uncle also. So actually I belong to Western Odisha. I am serving here at Chandikol Mahavidyalaya. But I also served for many years in Kalahandi, 18 years. In Kalahandi, I have done valuation at Government College, Bhawanipatna. If I remember, whenever I write something, I recapitulate the memories of the place. I recapitulate the river, the natural surrounding. When I wrote my novel, The Dark Hours, at the time, it is my whole experience of Kalahandi and Belghar, one of my favorite places in Phulwani, where I visited the tribal areas. So whenever I write, I am connected with the vegetative world of Kalahandi. So I am a part of this webinar. And if I remember, I had also visited the house of your Honorable Vice Chancellor long back to his Bhubaneswar residence for a TV program that we wanted to launch. And he had shown me the books. So this is a very interesting topic, that creativity and publishing. And Dr. Ampat Kosi ji and our madam has already told about the technical aspect. How can you be a successful writer? How can you publish your book? What are the mediums? What are the facilities today we are getting in the digital age? To become a writer, you can also have your self-publication of the book. So this is the scenario. Also, when I had written some books, but I was not known. When I joined in Facebook in 2010, 11, at that time I was known to some writers. I was known to Dr. Ampat Kosi ji when we met at New Delhi in International Center in New Delhi. While there was a conference going on there, I was also one of the speakers on a very interesting topic, meta-language intercultural disquisition, where I had heard the speech of Dr. Ampat Kosi. Also, I had invited to him to one of our webinar of our college. So, dear friends, it is very interesting to be a writer. Actually, we do not know that we have ability or this power to become a writer. There was a saying in the past that there are some born writers, or this is a gift of your birth. But in the process, we have learned that writing is a skill. Creativity is a skill, and it has become a part of our academic life. Nobody has been a poet from the womb of the mother. Everyone has learned. He has understood the surrounding. He has understood the environment of his society, culture, and the country, and the world as a whole. So when you think about these things, you become, and you want to express these things, what you feel about life, what you think about life, how you see this moonlit night, how you walked for a mile to the nearby forest and sat on the bank of the river, and you try to understand this sound of the murmuring sound of the river, where you try to understand the silence of the sky. As when you read great writers and readers, also we learn how they have written their works. That is why today a great writer is a great reader. If you have no reading habit, you cannot develop your language skill. You cannot know about the different techniques and the trend of the modern poetry. As Dr. Kosiji was telling that he has innovated some sonnet forms and other forms of literature. And I am a great, actually, I love him, and I have great regard that he has been constantly spending most of his time of his life for literature. And that is why it is not very important to be a writer, but it is very important to have a dedication for your commitment of expressing the social problems, about the cultural problems. And those who have become great writer in this world, they have not only expressed their emotion for aesthetic gratification, but they have expressed the agonies of the mankind. And when literature fails to express the agonies of the mankind, as Ernest Hemingway told that, just sit before the typewriter and start bleeding. If you don't bleed, then your writing, your words cannot be very powerful. And to be a writer is rather a very inspiring thing. Many people today, in every house, we find a writer these days. Children are writing, even housewives are writing how to spend their time. And in Facebook, you find millions of writers, hundreds and thousands of writers. In Instagram, you have so many writers and you have so many followers. As there was discussion about Rupi Kaur, who is an Indian-born Canadian artist. She has written 2 books called The Sun and Its Flowers and The Milk and the Honey. And these 2 books were sold 8 million copies because she has numbers of followers in Instagram and in social media. But there is another writer in Canada, Margaret Atwood. She doesn't have any follower in Instagram, or she doesn't have a Facebook page. But then you know that she is one of the great writers of our time, and her book, The Handmaid Tale, is one of the very popular TV serial that you can also see it in Netflix. And her books have been also sold like hotcakes. In this context, I want to say that writing is no doubt an inspiration, but writing has a purpose. If the writing has no purpose, it becomes rather like a ship without a captain. So that is why if you are a writer, if you are lucky, some people, they read your works. If you are very lucky, then you will be read by thousands. And if you are really fortunate, you will be read by millions. And you know that when a book is published, like you may publish your book by self, you may open a Facebook page, you may
Sir, please unmute, sir. Sir, please unmute.
Sir,
Professor Padhi, sir, please unmute, sir.
there is a technical issue from his side. He has logged out.
Yeah. So let us move to Mohasan, madam.
Wait a little.
We'll wait for a while.
Okay, let's wait for 2 minutes. Wait for 2 minutes.
Sir.
So I will, in the meantime, I'll like to request the participants, if they have any questions for the resource persons, please type your questions in the text box, which will be read out for the resource person. You can also mention the particular resource person to whom you want to ask the question. So after Ms. Mohasen speaks, then we'll have the interaction session on will take your
By
question.
this time, if possible, if he joins, Jadev. Sanjeev,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
hello.
Listening,
Sir.
sir.
Sir,
Yes.
sir.
You can go for one or two questions now. If he joins, okay. Otherwise, Mahua will speak.
Okay.
Okay, don't miss the
So there is
time.
a question.
Ah,
Yes, there is a question already in the chat box. It's by our uh, Himanshu Charan Sarangi, sir. He asked the question, please illuminate us. Please illuminate us a bit on the art of choosing a theme for creative writing. Does it come accidentally? So he has not mentioned any particular resource person, so anyone can take these questions. So I'll like to request Dr. Varghese or Dr. Sulagna to answer these questions.
Yeah, I'll answer very briefly. There are two ways in which we can find a theme. One is to write on what inspires us. Dr. Rajendra Padi was just saying, a writer is not a writer if he does not bleed. So there are many things we see around us in society that inspires us to write about it, and we need to write about it. The second thing is we can follow a program like NaPoWriMo, where every day we have a prompt, and that prompt, if we do it like we are in school and it's homework, then that also inspires us, and finally it leads us to write something very good. That's all.
Yes. Perhaps Professor Padi has joined the webinar once again. So Padi, sir, you can continue, sir. Yes, sir. Padi, sir, we are listening you. You can continue, sir. Yes, Professor Padi, we can hear you. Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
Rajendra, you can continue, please.
Yes.
Yeah. So because of some network problem, actually, I was. So, dear friends, as I was telling you that today we have the digital media, and we have the opportunity for self-publishing and all those things. But what is the difference today is that, you know, that in 2002, Jhumpa Lahiri published her first book called Interpreter Maladies. And that was her debut book. In that book was sold 15 million copies. That was the first book of Jhumpa Lahiri in 2002. And that book received also the Pulitzer Award. You know, the book before its publication was translated into so many languages, at least to be circulated to 25 countries. And this book will be done proper marketing, and the reviews will be done by very important magazines and journals. And this book was sold 15 million copies. So nowadays we have who is a successful writer. If he has a good tie-up with the publication house, and if your book is worthy to be published, it is very innovative, it is highly innovative, and it is worthy to be read. That is also very important. So in this context, we find that writing a book is not important, but the circulation of the book is also very important. And if you find a proper publishing house, and if your book is duly translated in so many languages, and the marketing is done in digital stores, and the book is circulated in small bookstores to large bookstores, if the book is circulated in different book fairs, and if it reaches to the common people through a wide circulation, then only there is the worth of a great book. And you know, dear friends, that we have the opportunity of writing so many works. And today we find that every day we have so many writers, but to write a book is definitely it is a great thing, but its recognition is also it is also very important, whether this book is recognized or not. For example, if you want to publish a book in Penguin or Petrus, they ask the manuscript, and they edit the manuscript time and again till the book is ready for global readers. Then the animation, then the cover page, they also make introspection about the title of the book, that if you have the ability or the skill to be a successful writer. So the author's brand is also very important. And the television companies, you know that one of the book called The Almond Tree, before its publication, its writer was Almond Tree happens life in Palestine. 3 years the writer gone there. He has seen what is the realities. If you are writing, it doesn't take 1 year to write a novel. So many years to write a novel. You know that when Rilke, the German poet, the greatest poet of this millennium, he wrote the Duno Alices. He took 10 years to write Duno Alices. He was invited by Princess von Maria Texas of Germany. He stayed in the Adriatic, in the Duno Castle on the shore of Adriatic Ocean. And he remained there for 10 years inside the cave to write Duno Alices. Also, we must remember that Valmiki wrote Ramayana in a very secluded place in the forest, and Vedyasa wrote Mahabharata in Badrinath. And all these things are very important, that when you are undertaking the task of creativity, and I know that it is a highly contemplative one, and also you must have the knowledge of how creative language, you must have the experience of life, understanding of life, philosophy of life, and your emotions should be very true to your words, true to your hearts. So when we read a poem these days, we find that a person can write on varied subjects. And you know that because we are reading the different forms of poetry in our literature as an academic work, so also we feel that we can have mastery over haiku poetry, we can have mastery over any kind of sonnet, we can mastery over any kind of form of poetry. And if we just go on doing these things very mechanically, as we read what is the technique of writing a story, if we read what is the technique of writing a novel, then definitely our writing shall not be that powerful. For example, in Odisha, we find that many poets of Odisha, they did not have a sufficient, great knowledge, but in spite of that, they have expressed their hearts. You know that Bhima Bhoi has written, "Mo jivana pache narke padithao jagata uddhara ho." This line is there in the United Nations. So creativity is not actually having some boundaries. Creativity has no limit. Creativity has no actually boundaries in which actually you can write. Because when you are writing, at that time you have the freedom of choice in your mind. So when we are writing, and if you think that the things that you are writing may not appeal the people, it may not be very popular. So that is why these days we have numbers of techniques. These days people, they define creative writing: poetry, plays, movie, television scripts, fiction novels, novellas, short stories, songs, speeches, memoirs, personal essays. You want to write a novel or a story, you have narrative writing, analytical writing, expository writing, perceptive writing. These are all academic things. It has nothing to do with creativity. As Jayadev was telling at the beginning of his speech, apara kabya sansare kavireva prajapati jatheva rochate vishwam tatheva parivartate. So thoughts comes to our mind, and when thoughts are expressed, it travels long distance. So if we write something by the use of our own imagination, then only it is creative. If you follow certain technical things, you follow certain formulas, then you can never express your own feelings and thoughts very powerfully. That is why
Absolutely.
creative act is always praised as a very imaginative act. And particularly when you are writing in words, at that time, exact feelings can come to poetry or any kind of writing when actually the exact word can come for your own exact feelings. So when we read a poem,
Got disconnected again, I think.
Yeah.
Sanjeev, now Mahu
I will
can
proceed.
take over.
Okay, sir. So thank you, Professor Padi, for your insightful and thoughtful, informative talk.
Here Charitam.
So may
One
I?
book is called Nature Here Charitam. When we read Gangadhar Meher, we find the great
He didn't.
impact of Raghuvansham. So when we read Shakespeare, we find the great impact of Plutarch. We find great impact of the French novelist. So when we read all these great poets and writers, we feel that the language from the literature, but they have expressed their feelings and creativity in their own way. That is why I have an opinion that you should rather, as Wordsworth has told, every man is a poet. You should go on writing. I have always an inspiration for my students also that go on writing, whatever comes to your mind. You may not be great, but
Sir, Professor Padi, may I request now to sum up your talk in 1 minute?
It releases our mind. It frees us from the agonies. You know that during this time of pandemic, I went through the book The Plague by Albert Camus. And the exact situation that today we are facing in Odisha is the situation there in the book called The Plague. And you must have also gone through the book of French Kafka, this Metamorphosis, where actually a man is transformed into a cockroach. So thereby, when the work has the power of imagination, and when your imagination can roam or move, it can capture the things around you. As Charles Darwin has told, look around you. It would take 100 years to understand your own what the things that are present around your house. That is why.
Rajendra, with this sentence, you can conclude.
Yeah. So I'm very thankful. I don't want to go for a great deliberation. Everyone should culture creativity. And you know that even the great writers like Vladimir Nabokov, Rudyard Kipling, D.H. Lawrence, J.K. Rowling, and Malvillis or Moby Dick, Ernest Hemingway, they faced a lot of problems. Arkan Arendt and Mulk Raj Anand, all they faced great problems for the publications of their books. And I want to just conclude with one of the statements given by T.S. Eliot to when this Animal Farm of George Eliot was sent to T.S. Eliot for publication, because T.S. Eliot at that time was working in a publishing house. So he is told that we are very sorry to inform you that this book is not worthy to be published. But I think that Animal Farm is read more widely than The Wasteland. The Wasteland has remained as in our academic works, but Animal Farm is read everywhere. And you know that J.K. Rowling's the Harry Potter, it was rather sold 450 million copies in the world. But you know that first of all, it faced a lot of problems for the publication of the book. And that is why we should not be very desperate whether we got recognition or not, whether we got fame or not, whether actually we are able to publish or not. But we must go on writing, keep on writing one day or other. If your works are very worthy to be read by people, even after your death, because Paul Coelho, he has written in one of his book, Brida, he has written that actually the present work of
Again,
literature is not for this generation. It travels to
True.
many generations. And that is why, and our writing should be very delightful for others. As you know, dear friends, that I remember few lines of Madhusala. And when we read Madhusala, whether this book is written in the shade of William Fitzgerald's Rubaiyat, whether this book is written in the shade of Rubaiyat, we forget. But when we read this book,
Sir, thank you, sir. Sir, we are running short of time. Professor Padi, sir, we are running short of time. Excuse us, please. Thank you, sir.
thank you, sir. May I now request Ms. Mohua Sen to keep her deliberation on the webinar. So it's
Yes.
over to now Ms. Mohua Sen.
Hello, everyone. First of all, I would like to convey my gratitude to Rajendra sir, Sanjay Satpathy sir, Jaidev Sahu sir, and all the curators of this event for
Madhusala. So these lines, they actually give you a lot.
You can keep your sir. You can keep Rajendra sir. Am I audible to you? Rajendra sir, may I audible to you?
I think he is
Yes,
not.
sir. You can keep your presentation to later part. So let's hear Mohua Sen. There is frequent technological interruption from your side. So it's over to Mohua Sen now. Madam, continue.
Okay. So, hello everyone. First of all, I would like to convey my gratitude to Rajendra sir, Sanjay Satpathy sir, Jaidev Sahu sir, and all the curators of this event for having me here today. I'm extremely honored to be here with you all. We got a fantastic insight into the nuances of creative writing. Ampat Koshi sir mentioned about the master classes that are being offered online. So I would not go into those details again. He mentioned about the wonderful courses that are being offered for free, and I'm sure that's going to be of great help to you all. Osho says to be creative means to be in love with life. So art is the mirror of society. It transports us into a world that reflects reality in its purest form. Reality that is, unadulterated from facts and stats. It exists as we are meant to see it. And writers have seen this side of reality since the beginning of time. And as we already know, writing can do so much. I mean, it can persuade the
Madam, please unmute yourself. Madam, you are muted yourself. Yes, ma'am.
I didn't realize that I was mute. I'm so sorry about that.
Okay, you can start, ma'am.
Yeah.
Again,
Ma'am, again you were on mute. Ma'am, again you were on mute.
So, am I audible now?
You are,
Yes.
you are. We could hear you, but you were muted just for 2 seconds. When
Okay, so I'm not starting again then?
no, you need not. We could hear you, yeah.
Yeah, so where was I? I forgot. Well,
We were
fine.
speaking about Osho, yeah.
Yes. Okay, you heard only till that?
Yes.
We already got a fantastic insight into the nuances of creative writing, and I'll not go into that detail again. Ampat Koshi sir has, mentioned about amazing online classes that are being offered for free as well. And I'm sure that is going to be of great help to you all. And art is the mirror of society. It transports us into a world that reflects reality in its purest form, reality that is unadulterated from facts and stats. And it exists as we are meant to see it. And writers have seen this from the very beginning. So as we already know, writing can do a lot. It can, bring together a country, infuriate a society, and persuade the masses. And writing is the most powerful weapon, I would say, that we have today. Things have changed immensely in the recent times, but when we were graduating, that is more than a decade back, writing was seen as a profession with some sort of negative connotation, so to say. So when a person decided to seek a career in writing or journalism, oftentimes they could encounter people peering at them, like demanding to know his or her alternate plan. So I have faced that myself because after graduating in English honors from Calcutta University with flying colors, when I wanted to pursue post-graduation in mass communication from IIMC, that is Indian Institute of Mass Communication, Delhi, everybody asked me, why don't I sit for CAT and study MBA instead? And I really had a tough time, convincing everyone, people that mattered, that, I want to really go for MBA, mass communication and not MBA. Well, I did my mass comm anyway, but yes. So what I want to say is, in a society that, many areas value STEM, that is science, technology, engineering, and maths, over arts, it is vital that writers take up initiative to kind of show the world that creativity is not dead. The actions taken to divide a society of creative talent, in turn, I think, catalyzes all of the creative expressions. So, well, I really want to tell another thing at the risk of, deviating from the topic of discussion. Like I said before, in recent years, STEM education, people think children should, focus more on math and science skills due to the boom of new STEM jobs like coding, etc. And it may be surprising to learn that multiple, studies have proved that writing actually helps the brain develop the quintessential functions that are required for successful math and science learning. So many parents, including my friends, fret over this. So, parents should know that when their children are practicing writing in their spare time, they're also helping themselves widen their math and science skills indirectly. So yes, when it comes to writing, as Don Pointer says, if you wait for inspiration to write, you're not a writer, you're a waiter. So many people tell us we should not write. And in fact, we tell ourselves we cannot, or we don't have the experience, we don't have, time, we don't have the inspiration or the talent and this and that, and the list goes on and on. But these are just excuses. We are full of excuses not to write. And we love to procrastinate. That is the truth. Many a times we love to be critics. There's nothing easier than that, not creating and, kind of judging other people's creations, because that's very safe. And what's not safe is going out of your comfort zone and letting your imagination pour on paper. And before we write, we should read. We should read, and read. As Stephen King says, if you want to be a writer, you must do two things above all others, that is read a lot and write a lot. So read everything that you get your hands on, because what you absorb subconsciously become a part of your writing. The more you diversely you read, the more distinctive your voice will be when you write. So a writer is an admixture of everything he or she has read. Only after you have read a lot, many different genres and type of writing, can you decide what suits you the best or what you admire. And the next step is to absorb what you love. So for me, I bookmark pages that speak to me. And I love to go back to those pages time and again. So reading is, I think, the prerequisite for writing. This reminds me that as a child, while traveling by train, my granny would buy me those peanuts that they used to sell in paper cones those days. And as a child, I would be so curious to know what's written in that piece of paper. So kind of after devouring the entire peanut, I would read, I would open it up and read what is there, what is written there. Sometimes it used to be newspaper cutting or maybe old notebook page or whatever it was, but I would read from the beginning till the end. So I had this, crazy hunger for reading ever since a tender age. And I think it started with my granny reading me bedtime stories from Indian folklores when I was barely 4 or 5. And by the time I was 11 or 12, I remember I read many Amar Chitrakatha books, the entire series of Famous Five, Nancy Drew, and Secret Seven, Hardy Boys, etc. And I remember I had a crazy affinity towards Greek mythological stories. So people who know me and have read my poems can relate to this perhaps, because many of my poems have references to Greek gods and stories. And as I said, that happens involuntarily. Like I said, we are an amalgamation of what we read. So yes, I think that hunger to read anything and everything is very important. And another very important thing I feel is the importance of grammar. Yes, mastering the language is, of course, an important step in becoming a writer, because if you don't know how it works, you have a hard time constructing sentences or making your work appealing enough. So luckily, there are, always ways to learn how to kind of master the English language. And if you really want to, that is. And so it's very important to work on your grammar and diction if you want to write well. Well, how to start? How do we start writing? I think you don't have to write an epic poem or a story in the very first go. Beginners in anything need time to be able to walk steadily. It takes a lot of doddering and floundering before that. And it might sound a little obvious, but every story begins with a word or a sentence. And I would say just write anything, write something down. Believe me, there is a vast sky to kind of draw your inspiration from. So write anything you want and then read it time and again, read it aloud and edit and edit again. So if you can't think of anything, ask somebody to give you prompts. That kind of works for me really. As Ampat Koshi sir said, we have this NaPoWriMo. I recently wrote more than 30 poems in 30 days on prompts. So during the NaPoWriMo on TSL, that is the Significant League, the wonderful, writing platform curated by Sir Ampat Koshi. So prompts really are great triggers. So being a writer, I would say, is not just about starting to write, though that is often the biggest step you'll take. Being a writer is about continuing to write, even after you fail 100 times, You must pour words on paper, even when it's difficult. Some days writing 50 words will seem impossible. It happens with me all the time. But we must be persistent. As Ray Bradbury had said, that just write every day of your life and read intensely, then see what happens. This is something I try, to follow ever since a long time. I mean, since forever, I would say. So talking about trends now, a lot has been said already. Sulagna ma'am and Ampat Koshi sir and Rajendra sir have spoken a lot about trends. So I would not go into the technicalities much. It's been, I would say there are interesting and noteworthy trends taking place across the publishing industry. While many of those trends signal change and evolution, I would say others heed back to the genesis of our relationship with the written and spoken language. There's this significant boost in ebook, as already discussed, So, Sir Ampat Koshi mentioned about Kindle and Audible, and ebooks are simply easier for authors to handle in terms of setup and production. So, self-publishing a book on Amazon takes a great deal less time and effort. So, of course, if readers are keen to get their, hands on ebooks, it'll fill that demand with very little cost to themselves. And since the self-publishing market is now more accessible than ever, this may be one of the, I think, snazziest writing trends of 2021. Writers can curate their own destiny by, publishing their manuscripts as ebooks with these self-publishing companies. And it's still possible and surprisingly manageable to self-publish even an audiobook today. So I think self-publishing is here in a bigger way than ever before. And in recent times, as already spoken by Ampat Koshi sir, many forms are dominant. I think free verse is dominant. We are seeing more experimental and prose poetry as well than in the last few decades. And I think there has been a trend towards formal verse again in some circles, if I'm not wrong. I think people have, begun seeking out new genres of literature. Many readers have proclaimed a newfound love for dystopian fiction, in which the character circumstances are just worse than those we find ourselves currently facing. This reminds me of books like Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel, if any of you have read that. The novel takes place in the Great Lakes region before and after the fictional swine flu, known as the Georgian flu, yes, which devastated the world, killing most of the population. So it won the Arthur C. Clarke Award in, I think, 2015 or 16. So dystopian fiction is having a real moment in 2021. Of course, that doesn't guarantee that all of it will flourish going forward. In fact, I think as more and more authors finish writing coronavirus-inspired novels, probably late 2021 and beyond market would be saturated with these kind of, dystopian works. That's again a presumption. There is a surge in diverse voices. This trend stems from several sources, new writers that organically emerge every generation. And there's a spike of people writing during COVID-19. And finally, an industry-wide call for, diverse stories. And yes, how can I not mention that virtual events have become the norm? We have already, seen that trends taking shape over the past few months. And again, the logic is pretty obvious. Real life author events involves lots of people in a crowded room, and virtual events may not come with the tangible, satisfaction, but there's much safer. They're much safer in the current scenario. And in my experience, they have proven surprisingly proficient at gripping a similar aura akin to real life events. So, well, I certainly don't think this will be the end of real life book events and all, but I do feel authors will continue these virtual events like readings, webinars, and discussions and workshops going forward as well. So there has been a paradigm shift in trends. It's true that traditional books have started to kind of face some competition from ebooks and other electronic platforms. However, a physical book is just a book, and that's what makes it so fantastic. And it doesn't come with multiple layers of alternative functions that are kind of, vying for our attention. So the relevance of a physical book will always remain intact, no matter the changing trends. So yes, I think I have exhausted my time, so I would wrap up here itself. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, madam, for your encouraging talk and sharing your experiences with the students. And you definitely mentioned how choosing writing as a career at the beginning is a difficult task for the society. Yes. You shared your own experiences.
Yes.
And also you inspired the listeners, the aspiring writers, to read a lot and absorb learning from all sources.
Yes.
And you also mentioned the current trends that are prevailing. And you also mentioned how writing is a powerful art which can transform society in different forms.
Yes.
And we look forward to questions. So I'll start with you, madam. There is a question for you. The question is a student from our department, Asirvad Panda, asks, what cognitive benefits do creative writing and storytelling confer upon students? So this is a student.
Sorry?
Yes. What cognitive benefits do creative writing and storytelling confer upon students?
It has a lot of benefit, as I mentioned just now. It widens as during this 10, somebody's phone is ringing perhaps. During this
It's my wall clock. Sorry, madam.
No, that's fine. During this, recent years and this boom in STEM education, people feel, as I mentioned already, people feel that, in fact, many of my friends feel that, when kids are, sitting and writing something, that means they're, wasting on time. But I would say that is, of course, they widen their imagination to a great extent when we write. So yes, creative writing widens your thought process. It widens your, it's amazing for cognitive, as he asked. Yes, it does help a lot.
Thank you, madam. So Pratap Das asked this question. Any of the speakers can answer this question. So would you please explain the future of printing agency so far their business is concerned? Because of this onslaught of technological revolution, perhaps he's asking this question. So any resource person can take these questions. What is the danger that the printing presses are facing at present?
Okay. So
yes, Sulagna.
Yes. I believe this books are there to stay, whatever it may be. Books will stay forever. But at the same time, looking at the situation, looking at the digital publication, maybe this publishing companies, they can go for both offline publication as well as for ebook publication, because you have to adapt. If you do not adapt, you are going to perish. And especially when it comes to business, you have to look at your audience. Who are these audiences? So I guess they have to go for both offline publication, printed publication, as well as digital publication.
Thank you, madam. So a student from the department, Pallavi Rao, she asks, many times it happens that when I want to write, my ideas bloom, but words betray, and sometimes words flow, but ideas go astray, which ultimately results in nothing. It is my request to the scholars to guide us on how to establish a good relation with our ideas and words.
As I said in my discussion, that the only way out is we have to read a lot and we have to work a lot on our diction and grammar. Only then can you be, be able to express what you really want to. So it's very important to read a lot, and it's very important to work on your diction and grammar. That's what I feel. To be able to be a good writer and to be able to express yourself.
Yes. Another question from Panchanan Duria sir. He asks, what is the process and product approach to creative writing? Is it any useful? Please just explain. Process and product approach to creative writing.
So can you please repeat the question?
Yes. What is the process and product approach to creative writing? Is it any useful?
What do they, can they just explain?
He's asking what is the process and product approach to creative writing?
Is he asking about inspiration, how to get inspiration, or how to start writing?
Yes, I request Panchanan Duria sir to speak and clarify his question. Is it? Yes. Panchanan Duria sir, are you there? Okay, Bharat, he is
okay,
out,
Sulagna.
So yes.
Sulagna Mahua, I am assisting you.
Yes.
The process is practice makes a man perfect. You did not scale your writing, whether good or bad, whether excellent, whether it will be accepted or not. Sometimes this happens when in the process you go ahead. You try a specific single listener. If that listener speaks it is good or bad, that is your skill. It is not that.
True.
Somebody has told me, whenever you are writing something, even if you are going to edit, it will be wrong. Keep it for a day or two. Then it will be different. So don't think once you will write something and it will be nice. Mahua rightly told, you have to go for polishing and polishing. Right?
Exactly.
Like a furniture maker.
True.
It becomes shining by that. And another thing which I must add to Mahua, that is writing is a stress relieving activity. It lessens the burden which it is maybe in many times a negativity transformed into positivity, like water turns to vapor. Water turns to vapor. Many pressures which are within us, when we go for writing it out, because speaking to somebody is dangerous many a time. Even to your best friend, you speak something that may come back. Okay, so you should go on writing. The valuation of those writing will be done in course of time. One should not be worried for that immediately after writing it.
Well said. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
An alumni of the university, Vaikuntanath, he asked a question to Sulagna madam, and this is really interesting also. What does come first, criticism or creativity? Or should one be critically creative or creatively creative? Does criticism come under the umbrella term of creativity?
Thank you so much for your interesting question. I had read somewhere that when you are writing, don't try to be an editor. Now, it has helped me a lot in the process of writing, because that is what Professor Satpathy was also telling, Mahua ma'am was also telling, because we become so self-critical when we write.
True.
And we, as a creative writer, we need to learn how to forgive ourselves. But we don't know, because we become so self-critical. So please don't try to be an editor when you are writing. Just let your imagination flow. Let your expression flow. Just express yourself. And then later you can always go back to your writing. And when you are talking about criticism, before coming to other people's criticism, first try not to be self-critical of yourself. And then we can always go for others. I remember Horace has told that please don't surround yourself with these sycophants who are just going to, in Hindi we say, chane ke jhaad pe chadhana. Please don't surround yourself with those kind of people who would never going to criticize you. You have to be open for constructive criticism, because that is how you polish your work. And that is extremely important, to have a critic who calls a spade, who can tell on your face if something is not good. And you have to be open enough to accept that and improve yourself.
Yes, madam, you have got another
question. Thank you, madam.
From
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Bankim Mund sir from Dharmagad Women's College. He asked this question: should a budding writer go more for digital publication than that of the traditional one in this virtual era?
Sulagna, Mahua, I am ending it by answering.
Yes, sure.
Whichever is a privilege for you, you can go through. It depends on the pressure of time. But one thing all of you have to remember, you cannot see your face in wavy waters. So don't put the waters to wave structure. Don't throw a stone by criticizing or critically analyzing. Let the mind be cool like smooth waters. You can see your face. You can see the reflections which are in your mind, and you can translate that to words. That is what I think more appropriate.
True.
So with that, we can end up today.
I think you can go for both traditional publishing as well as.
Yes.
Whichever is comfortable.
Exactly.
Yes, we'll take a final question.
Audience. Yeah, we have our audience for both digital as well as offline.
True.
So we have to reach everybody. Yeah.
Yes, we'll take a final question from a student of the department. Subhalakshmi Das, he asks, which platform will be a better choice for creative writing? It's asked to Varghese sir. He mentioned different platforms, online platforms to start. So which one will be a better platform for a beginner who wants to go for creative writing?
Sir has left.
Sir has left, I guess. Can't see him.
Okay, definitely we'll put forward this question to him. So with this, we end up this question answer session. So may I now request Subrat Pradhan sir to propose the vote of thanks on this occasion. And there were many questions. Sorry, I couldn't take it because of the shortage of time. And I may now request Subrat Kumar Pradhan sir of our college, of our department, to propose the vote.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Okay, good morning to one and all linked in this international webinar. I feel honored and privileged having an opportunity to offer a vote of thanks on this one-day international webinar. First of all, I would like to thank the chief speaker, Dr. Ampad Bhagatji Koshi, sir, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Jazan University, Saudi Arabia, who has shared his excellent views on creative writing and publication. Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable presence, and your ideas have enlightened us. I express my gratitude to our research person, Dr. Suratna Mohanty, Madam, Associate Professor, Jain Deemed to be University, Bangalore, for your valuable speech, pinpointed technical ideas. Thank you, Madam. I extend my heartfelt thanks to our next research person, Professor Rajendra Padhi sir, Head of the Department of English, BB Autonomous Mahavidyalaya, Chandigarh, who has shared his excellent ideas about purposeful writing. Thank you, sir. I would like to thank another research person, Ms. Mahua Sen, Madam, poet and freelance writer, Hyderabad, who has shared again excellent creative ideas about how to start writing. Thank you, Madam. I owe special gratitude to our chief patron, Professor Sanjay Kumar Satpathy sir, Vice Chancellor, Kalahandi University, for his enormous support and guidance to make this event successful. Thank you, sir, once again. I also extend my heartfelt thanks to our patron, Sri Padmalochan Bhuye sir, Registrar and Head of the Department, Sanskrit, Kalahandi University. Thank you, sir. I express the most sincere thanks to our convener, Dr. Captain Jadal sir, Deputy Registrar and Head of the Department, English, Kalahandi University, not only for his spending his time with us today, but also for encouraging us to achieve many endeavors. Thank you, sir. Thank you once again. It is my pleasure to thank all the organizing team members, Sri Sanjay Kumar Sahu sir, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Kalahandi University, for his tireless effort to organize this seminar a grand success. Thank you, sir. I sincerely thank Dr. Radhani Naik, Madam, for her support and cooperation. Thank you, Madam. I'm grateful to thank all the faculties, participants, research scholars, and students from various institutions for their gracious presence. Once again, I thank you all. Thank you.
So thank you, everybody,
Thank you so
for the
much.
presence. Now, students, you can start writing. You have listened a lot. You can experiment and experience.
All the best
Thank
to
you,
all of
Baba.
you.
Thank you, Sulagna.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.
Thank
so
you once
much,
again, all the
everybody.
resource person, for giving your valuable time to this webinar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And
Thank
thank you, the
so much for
participants,
the opportunity.
once again,
Thank you, sir. Thank
from
you.
the Department of English.
Sir, just sir, just a request on behalf of all the students. They are
Yes.
requesting for a group with all the speakers. So we'll do that later on, sir.
Okay.
Sir,
I
I
will
beg
do that. We'll do that.
Sir, I beg excuse before our Vice Chancellor, sir. And also I thank him for giving a lot of time to us. So thank you, sir. A lot of thanks to you, sir. Thank you all.
But
Thank you.
there should be an
Sir.
acid test of the students who are really interested in creative writing. It is not just for the
Okay, sir.
name to be in the group, but they should prove
sir.
themselves they are interested, they are hungry for creative writing. If that is
Sir.
so, the group may be small, but
Sir.
it will be creative and it will be fruitful, purposeful.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Definitely,
Sir,
sir,
thank
will
you.
take this